Am I the jerk for thinking my girlfriend is a social climber? My girlfriend and I have been together for about 8 months, and since then, there have been multiple occasions where I have ended up feeling frustrated due to this kind of behavior. Context: we work in the same industry, so this makes a lot of my meetings and connections desirable for her. Most recently, I had an important meeting with a potential new agent. It was my second meeting, and he was coming to meet us at our house for a chat. Then me and the agent, planned to go out to dinner. My girlfriend came home during the meeting, said hello, and then pulled up a chair and said, "I'm so hungry. What are you both up to? Are you going for dinner?" This threw me a bit. I was a bit lost for words, and after a bit of awkwardness, the agent said we should all go for dinner. At the dinner, she spoke about herself. She exaggerated a few things to look more impressive, made it clear she was agentless, and would randomly bring up that she did great work today, etc. I will say she comes across as very lovely and sweet, so of course the agent ended up being interested in her. When we were leaving, he wanted to meet up with her in New York. At dinner, she said, "I'm in New York next month," despite it not actually being confirmed. And then it became awkward as she had to admit the New York trip didn't have dates yet and wasn't 100%. When we got back home, I just said that something didn't feel right, and I didn't expect her to come home and do that. She got upset and defensive and would say things like, "I just won't talk to anyone in the future, if it's that what you want," which felt a little manipulative. So, am I the jerk here? Let's see some comments. Dude, she's very manipulative. This was planned by her, and she has zero remorse. It's all about her. She did it once, and she will do it again if given the chance. Also, concerning is her ability to lie like it's no big deal. Not a trait most people would want in their partner. Another comment says, she's also very immature, which could become a liability for him quickly. She knew that, despite being at home, his meeting was a professional one. It was appropriate to pop in and introduce herself politely and quickly, because it's her home as well, I assume, but then she should have excused herself. You don't plop yourself down in the middle of your spouse's business meeting and start making small talk, much less self-promoting. Given that he refers to the person he was meeting as an agent and says that she is looking for one too, it implies that it was not a client of his but rather someone who might be representing him, i.e. in publishing, as an artist, as an athlete, etc. That makes this doubly problematic because gaining good quality representation in any field, and I say this as a former literary agent, is difficult and competitive unless you're one of a tiny number of very famous people, and she not only made herself look deeply unprofessional, no matter how charming she may have been, it made him look like the sort of person that, as an agent, you'd think twice about working with because intrusive spouses/partners are exhausting and tend to cause more trouble than they're worth. She's going to weigh him down, and cause people not to want to work with him. If you like this content, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe. That helps the channel to grow and improve. Am I the jerk for telling my friend not to come if she's bringing her kid? One of my nearly 30 years old friends put together a get-together at a restaurant for my birthday. The place has a bar where we're going to be hanging out. The plan was to get a bit tipsy and order appetizers. My husband and I have a 3-year-old, but we're hiring a babysitter for the night. We rented out a private room with a bar. My other friend, Missy, has a 5-year-old daughter. She mentioned she was going to bring her. I offered to pay my babysitter extra to watch her daughter. Missy said no because her daughter is in daycare all day, and she doesn't want her to have to then be with a sitter. I said I understand, but I don't think it's appropriate for her to come. 1. I know our group. We're going to get rowdy, and I don't want to censor myself. 2. Missy's daughter is like a lot of 5-year-olds. She doesn't sit still, wants to run over the place. Missy admits she doesn't bring her out to restaurants much because she doesn't know how to act. But I also know Missy will just sort of let her as she's very permissive. I spoke to my friend who put it together and said I don't want any kids there. There's a reason I got a sitter for my own kid. That friend agreed and told Missy not to bring her daughter. Missy has now thrown a fit and said she's not coming. I said I completely understand. There are events I have missed because I don't want to leave my daughter, and the group understands as we all have kids. I told Missy I'd be glad to have a play date/lunch another time with our kids so we can still hang out. I told Missy I can't stop her from coming to the restaurant, but we absolutely will not allow her to come into the private room. She's very hurt that we're excluding her. Also, if it's relevant, Missy didn't pay for the rented room. 2 of my other friends did as a gift to me. So, it's not as if I'm telling her she can't come to something she paid for. And someone commented this. You offered reasonable solutions, and she refused. When a person chooses a lifestyle, they have to deal with whatever comes with it. But they aren't entitled to special treatment, especially when people of a similar lifestyle have adapted. We've all had to miss out on something for one reason or another. Plenty of parents have had to make this choice before. She's not letting herself be an independent adult outside of parenthood. This could have been a great evening for her to blow off steam and come back more parent-wise than ever. I have a couple of friends who regret not taking up babysitting offers earlier in their parenting journeys to allow themselves to be grounded. It's a shame, really. Next story. Am I the jerk for telling my dad I don't care about his wife and her kids? My dad, Joel, got married to his wife, Helen, when I was 12. Helen has 2 daughters, Ella, 25, and Mary, 23. My parents share me and my older sister, Jessa, and we were raised between both parents. I am now 28 and currently expecting my first baby, so I decided to have a nesting party, basically a pre-baby prep party. Assemble the baby furniture, deep clean the house, prepare freezer meals, decorate the nursery, etc. It was supposed to be a small group with my mom, my 2 sisters, a brother-in-law, 2 close friends, my husband, and me. A couple days before my party, my dad called, asking when I was going to invite Helen and her daughters. I was caught off guard because I didn't know he knew about the party, so I told him it was a small party and I had already assigned tasks. I promised him I would do something bigger after my son was born. He started to guilt-trip me about how Helen was excited because this was her first grandchild. I finally gave in and figured I would find something for them to do. The day of the party arrived, and everyone showed up. Everyone starts to do tasks. Quick explanation. I'm a very picky eater, so my mom and I cooked the food, my husband and brother-in-law assembled, and my friend decorated. I left my friend Susan and my sister Jessa with the 3 to clean and organize. Everything went smoothly in my eyes. Everyone ate, we took some pictures, and everyone went home. The party was on Saturday, and on Sunday night, my dad called me upset because he felt I should have given them a more honorable task than cleaning. When I pointed out that he forced me to have them because I didn't really want them there, he got more upset and accused me of being difficult. He started telling me I needed to fix my attitude, or my baby would miss out on family. I lost my temper and yelled at him that Helen and her daughters are not my family and mean nothing to me or my child. And I told him that if he felt that way, he could have no grandchild in his life. I explained the situation to my husband, and he feels I may have been too harsh because, in Helen's culture, family members tend to be overly attached. I feel how I feel, but at this point, I just don't know if I'm being a jerk. So, am I? Not the jerk. It was known that cleaning needed to get done and was a possible task assignment. That's the role they got. Too bad they think they are special and should have done something else. Their presence wasn't even wanted in the first place, let alone giving them a better task. Oh, but her culture is about strong family connections? Too bad that's not the culture of you or your baby, so it doesn't apply. You get to dictate the type of relationship you have with Helen and her kids. Your father doesn't get to control that and make demands. Your dad wants to threaten his relationship with your child. His problem is that he will be the one who loses out on meeting his grandchild. Next story. No longer a bridesmaid. Demoted out of the wedding. So I, 29 female, am a bridesmaid at my friend's wedding. Maid of honor booked the airline out of state about a year in advance. Everyone paid the down payment for the Airbnb so she could book it. Fast forward a few months later, and I found out I was pregnant. I told the bride and MOH that I wouldn't be able to participate in the bachelorette anymore due to my being 39 weeks pregnant and wouldn't be able to fly. This week, all the bridesmaids got a text about the rest of the money being due for the Airbnb. She said, and I quote, "Regardless of whether I go or not, I still need the rest of the money." I texted the bride, expressing how I don't think it is fair that I have to pay more money for this Airbnb I won't be staying at. Now, I did plan on sending Venmo for decorations and food and drinks for the bride while they are on the bachelorette. Well, the bride replied pretty much, saying if I can't contribute to all the wedding festivities, then I should just cut my losses and shouldn't be a bridesmaid anymore. She said if I wanted to be a bridesmaid, still paying for the airfare was what I signed up for. Was I wrong for not wanting to pay $300 for a trip I won't be participating in? My friend tallied up what we have spent so far, and it was already close to $700 between shower invites, an Airbnb for the girls to stay at the night before and of the wedding, which, by the way, I told her I couldn't stay overnight since I'll have a newborn, but she still asked me for money, which I happily gave anyway, shoes for the wedding she specifically wanted, etc. Am I wrong to assume that she thinks her bridesmaids should pay for everything because that shows how committed I am to her wedding? Next story. My 37 female, husband, 38 male, told my daughter that she needed to be shaving herself. It's really bothered me. What are the ways forward from this? My husband and I have been married for 12 years, and we have 2 daughters. The eldest is 11, and the youngest is 8. He's a great dad, and the girls love him. But recently he said something that I think was extremely hurtful to my eldest daughter. He told her that she needed to shave herself, and I'm really annoyed at him for saying that to her. If she was insecure about it, I would be completely comfortable with her shaving if she wanted to. She doesn't seem bothered by it, and we live in a cold climate anyway. Although she does take part in several sports, but she doesn't care about it. So I don't see any reason to plant an insecurity in her mind about something that doesn't even matter. I've raised both of my daughters not to be ashamed of themselves, and I feel that having my daughter shaved would make her feel that way. She should only start shaving when she wants to, not when someone thinks she should. It's bothering me that my husband doesn't think that way, as I think that what he is saying could be harmful to her. There's nothing wrong with her and nothing that she needs to fix. I also don't want her little sister to think that she needs to shave as well. I'm not sure why he doesn't understand that, as it seems super obvious to me. Maybe it's because he's a man and doesn't understand what it's like to be a girl around that age. It's very difficult, and I don't want her dad to make it worse when he should be supporting her. It's bothered me so much that he said this. I couldn't imagine how I would have felt at my daughter's age being told that. I've talked to him about it, but he just doesn't think it's a big deal. I'm not sure why it is to me, but I just don't know what he was thinking when he said that to her, and I'm not sure how to get over this. Next story. My 29 male, lottery win has my girlfriend, 27 female, dreaming of early retirement, but I'm worried about our financial future. I am 29 and I work as a software developer. My life took an unexpected turn earlier this year when I won a mid-six-figure amount, precisely $600,000, from a fortunate gamble. It was a surreal moment, the kind you dream about but scarcely believe will happen, and I can't wait to retire. I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Ellie, for 3 years. She's 27, a passionate graphic designer with a creative soul, often expressing her desire to escape the monotonous 9-to-5 routine. When I shared the news of my windfall with her, her reaction was a mixture of joy and a kind of eagerness I hadn't seen before. She immediately suggested we retire early and embrace a life of travel and leisure, essentially suggesting we use the winnings to fund a dreamlike existence free from the constraints of traditional employment. Herein lies the dilemma. While I'm intoxicated by the idea of spending my days exploring the world with Ellie, I really love her, and I would dream of doing this. The practical side of me can't ignore the reality that $600,000, though a significant sum, is not a ticket to perpetual retirement for her, especially at our age. My vision included careful investments, maybe launching a startup, and of course, allowing for some immediate pleasures like travel, but within reason. Ellie, however, is already planning an elaborate journey that spans continents, living a nomadic life that, while adventurous, seems financially unsustainable in the long run. I'm caught in a whirlwind of emotions. I love her deeply, and the prospect of making beautiful memories across the globe is incredibly appealing. Yet, I can't shake off the responsibility I feel towards ensuring our financial security. The last thing I want is for us to face financial ruin in pursuit of an unattainable fantasy. The challenge I'm facing is how to communicate this to Ellie without dousing her dreams with cold pragmatism. It's crucial for me to find a way to express that, while I share her desire for adventure, we must approach this with a strategy that ensures our future security. How do I navigate this conversation without coming across as dismissive of her dreams? Is there a middle ground that allows us to indulge in the freedom this money brings while also planning for our future? I'm seeking advice on how to approach this delicate situation, hoping to find a balance that both honors our aspirations and acknowledges the realities of our financial situation. And the next story is, I, 32 male, think my wife, 29 female, is having an affair with her coworker. My wife has been mentioning one of her coworkers, Bob, a lot. She spoke well about how he works and about how gentlemanly and intelligent he is. I began to have suspicions and began to feel a little insecure. I told her how it made me feel that she talked too much about her coworker, but she assured me that there is nothing between them and that their relationship is purely professional and work-related. I checked her cell phone. I know, I'm an idiot for that, but I didn't find anything. In the conversation between them, they only talk about work. Bob is always the one who starts the conversation and tries to talk about things totally unrelated to work, but my wife just answers him half-heartedly. Also, my wife doesn't seem as emotionally connected to me anymore. She got a promotion at work, and on Saturday we went to celebrate with her coworkers. Since we moved to another state, she still doesn't have any friends, but she gets along quite well with her coworkers. I sat on her right and Bob on her left. They talked all night, ignoring my presence. When I tried to start a conversation with my wife, Bob would quickly interrupt us. When dessert was served, they even shared it. They cut the cake slice in half and then exchanged. How do I address this? How can I trust my wife again and stop feeling so insecure? I really have no proof that my wife is being unfaithful to me. I refuse to believe that she is unfaithful to me. She really isn't like that. Let's see some comments. Talk to your wife about the dinner and how she ignored you all night while talking to Bob and even sharing a dessert with him. This reinforced your suspicions that there is something going on between them. Your trust in her is shaken. See what she has to say. At the very least, she needs to limit her contact with Bob and try to rebuild trust with you. Next story. My girlfriend is upset that I haven't proposed on our trip. How do I fix this? My 27 male girlfriend, 22 female, and I celebrated our 2-year anniversary in early February. We took a trip to Disneyland in California and had a nice week-long beach getaway. Great views, water activities, and romantic dinners. On the last day of our trip, we had a nice romantic dinner at a restaurant on the beach, about an hour or so away from where we were staying. I guess during that dinner, she was awaiting a proposal, which I didn't have for her. We moved in with each other a year ago, and despite my worries about it being too soon, we get along great. We are both clean, respectful, and, overall, best friends. Money has just been tight. We live in one bedroom, and I don't have lots of money to go out all the time. I changed my timeline for her, but I guess I never had a timeline, as I'd been single for so long before her. I never thought I'd want kids and stuff, but now that all changed as I grew more in love with her. But I don't want kids right now. I guess I've given her mixed messages, as she puts it, since I've hinted at those things. Like asking what shape ring she likes, sending baby reels, and we both get drunk and talk about babies. But I've explained to her that we can't right now. I think she wants children soon, though. After we got back from the trip, she asked me why I didn't propose. She was under the impression I would, even though I never mentioned that. She told me that she is shocked I didn't, and she thought we were on the same page. Which we are. I 100% want to marry her. But it will be a surprise, and I need money for the ring. She started talking about her timeline, and I told her to just relax. Stop stressing. She's so young and have so much time to be free. And for our last story of today, my partner, 33 female, has cut my parents off from seeing our son, 3 male. My father has stage 4 liver/lung cancer. How do I, a 32 male, proceed? I'll try to keep this short and to the point. My girlfriend and I have been dating for 6 to 7 years in what I would describe as a situational relationship. She has short periods where she wants affection, romance, and sexual connection. Then there will be months of no connection of any kind. So, we are not extremely happy, and both have reasons for staying, besides some blind hope on my end that she will love me again. I stay because one of my biggest fears is being a part-time parent, and she stays because I do almost all the cleaning, cooking, and taking care of bills. So, our relationship is rocky and has been prior to these recent developments. To set the scene, I am an only child, and this is my only son. I'm extremely close with my parents and really don't want to lose them because I have no family other than my parents and my dad's mom. Essentially, what's happened is that my girlfriend feels disrespected by my parents regarding the house, mainly as a mother. She is bothered by the fact that my mom is close with our son. My mom watches our son 2 days per week while my girlfriend works part-time, and she usually keeps him Friday night while we both work. My mom did accidentally call herself mom twice, and I corrected her both times. I've started to call her grandma instead of mom, so there is no confusion, and our son doesn't confuse the two at all. Basically, the reasons she listed were: my mom called herself mom to our son those 2 times. Feeling disrespected as a mother by my parents. My mom spends too much time with our son, and they're too close. Not an excuse, but I just find it interesting that the girlfriend's mom is not in the picture. She has had substance abuse issues since her girlfriend was little, and so she's never been close to mom or grandma. I don't stand up for her, I don't side with her, and I don't have her back. She communicated all this, and I immediately went to my parents' house and set boundaries. I told them no names similar to mom, like mama, or anything that could be confused. I told them to respect her on the same level they would me. I told them to make sure they treated her well, and if they disrespected her again, I'd have to not allow them at my house anymore. I did exactly what my girlfriend wanted. I communicated to her that I was sorry, I had her back, we were on the same team, I heard her, and I'm fixing it ASAP. Set those boundaries and really felt I put my best foot forward on all issues. What happened next is the confusing part. After I set the boundaries, she told me that wasn't enough. She told me she was going to stop working, we can't afford that, and my mom was no longer watching our son during the week. Then she decided that every other week I could take my son to my parents' house, but they weren't allowed at our home. Then it changed to either they were fully cut off, or she would pack up and take our son to protect herself emotionally. My parents don't do a lot due to health issues and love being grandparents. My dad got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer last year at 64 years old, spread to his liver, and he is still doing treatments regularly. He's made it 9 months, and they didn't expect him to even make it that long. So my mother gets cut off from being a grandma, which is her favorite thing in life. And now my dad sees her in pain, which upsets him. I've got my parents saying I need to fix this since my dad may not have long to live, and I've got my girlfriend saying nothing will fix this and it's them or her. I live to be a father. My sons know why I wake up, work hard, and why I want to come home at night. I don't really have friends because I gave up alcohol 5 years ago and have never really had a social life since then. I'm absolutely terrified of losing half of my time with him. I also don't think I can respect someone who gives me an ultimatum such as the one she's given. I don't like when children or grandchildren are used as pawns to inflict pain. My parents have cut contact until I can give them information or a resolution. My girlfriend has resorted back to no connections, contact, or affection and shut down towards me and cleaning, which sucks because I work 50 hours per week. My dad works as hard as I can, and then I have to do 100% of the cleaning. Basically, I'm currently alone. I'm without family, without a real relationship, and just work, then come home to be a dad or clean. It's a really depressing life, and I don't know how much longer I can continue as is. I hope there is a world where I can have my parents in my life and a happy relationship with my girlfriend. If I'm being realistic, I think, unfortunately, I have to bite the bullet and end the relationship. I've wanted out for a while now, until she ropes me back in during one of her good weeks. Then months go by of being miserable or distracting myself until another good week. I just wish I didn't have to lose half my custody. I shouldn't have to choose between losing half my custody or my parents. I was just really depressed and upset with the situation. Also, just for context, since I never had grandpas and only one grandma, it's super important to me that my son has relationships with grandparents. Thanks, guys. I appreciate any wisdom and advice. What would you do in this situation? Tell me in the comments below. Subscribe and leave a like if you enjoy this content. See you next time.